Watch the guiltiest looking man alive somehow keep fooling gullible people. Hey guys, back again with another review for you. This one I actually just saw this morning, so this one's pretty fresh. So I'm going to do this one first before I get to the other ones I've already seen a while ago that I have to try a little hard to remember, so bear with me. For those who are new here, hi, I'm Michael the Comic Nerd. I review movies on the side when I'm not doing shorts and other comic book related things. I'm currently between jobs, so if you want to help me keep the lights on while I look for another one, please consider supporting to our Patreon. Even $1 a month would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, all that stuff out of the way, let's get started. So yeah, Trapped is the latest movie by M. Night Shyamalan that revolves around a guy, and I made sure to open the page on IMDb first this time before I started recording, named Cooper, who is taking his daughter to a concert, but finds out that the entire concert is also swarming with police because they're trying to find a serial killer called the Butcher, and surprise, surprise, and this isn't really that much of a spoiler, but it turns out Cooper is the Butcher, and this whole thing has been set up as a trap for him specifically. Yeah, most movies him trying to figure out what's going on, where he can go, how he can escape, blah, 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 blah. It's a good setup. It's a good setup for a movie. Unfortunately, the movie itself is not very good. And it is one of those weird instances where it feels like the universe itself was trying to stop me from seeing this. And I can now say that if I had a nickel for every time I went to go see a bad movie and got stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic because of a fire off the freeway, I would have 10 cents, which is not a lot of money, but it's weird that it happened twice. This is a case where I woke up early to go see this because I wanted to have the rest of my day, and I knew this movie was very good, so I went to go to the earliest showtime. It was like 10:15, and there was a bunch of traffic. I barely got there. I still missed the first couple minutes of the movie, and then I sat down after like 20 minutes. I was already kind of done with it. And Shyamalan is an interesting director because it is really a case where his movies are always kind of weird. They always have a weird feel to them, but you don't know if that weirdness is going to work to its advantage or disadvantage. For many years, it was always disadvantage. Like, he just had a streak of terrible movies. Recently, it's kind of become more of a mixed bag. Like, I didn't hate Knock on a Cabin Door. I thought that one was okay. Split was like good. Glass sucked. The Village, was it called The Village? Not The Village. The one where it's like I don't remember the name of it. There was some more good ones sprinkled in with the bad ones as of late. So this one is kind of like, okay, it's got a good setup. Is Shyamalan gonna fuck it up? The answer is yes. And I guess his daughter, the main singer is also played by his daughter, who does demonstrate some legitimate talent. So like, okay, cool. She's good. I liked her. I guess I'll do the positives first. Like I said, I think the setup is good. There is definitely there's some stuff I want to talk about that I can't without going into spoilers. I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible until I get there. But there is some interesting cat and mouse dynamics and some interesting ways characters try to get the upper hand on each other. That is actually pretty interesting and pretty clever way to stretch out the plot a little bit. But actors who played the kid, I thought the kid Riley, I thought was good. I think she did a good job with the performance. Cinematography's good. Oh shit. It's a good looking film. Like I said, there's some good setup here. Is that I would say the twist this movie inevitably has isn't quite as over the top as Shyamalan's other ones. Like, this one's a bit more like practical. There's still some Shyamanisms in there, don't get me wrong, but it's not as overt, let's say, as opposed to some of his other works where they tend to be more out there, so to speak. Is that really all I could say without going to spoilers? I think it is. So this is a solid 4 out of 10, not very good. It's not the worst film out there, but I was waiting for it to be over after about 20 minutes in. I guess one more thing I can say without going to spoilers is the acting. I think a big problem with this movie is the the acting of Cooper himself, who's played by Josh Hartnett, who has it's best way to describe it. It feels like he's trying too hard to play a man who is pretending not to be guilty. Like he's overcompensating too hard to the point where it's like, what? Like they're looking for a killer? Whoa, that's crazy. Kind of like Mark Wahlberg in the fucking one with the killer plants, the other Shyamalan movie. The other? No, that's not it. The Happening. The Happening. Where he's like, what? No! That kind of acting. And and there's also numerous shots of cutting to actors who are staring directly into the camera, and they're looking right at you while they're talking. And I think it's supposed to be claustrophobic and like unnerving, and it kind of is, but it just feels weird. And the actors don't feel comfortable talking directly into the camera like I'm doing right now. Like, imagine I am talking to you right now. I'm really close up to the screen, and I was like, no, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but they're looking for a killer out here, and this whole place is a trap for them. It's kind of cool, isn't it? You see how awkward that is? Yeah, it's like that. So there's a lot of cuts like that, and it feels like the actors aren't comfortable acting in this kind of a way, and it just feels funky. It feels off. It feels like it just doesn't work. It doesn't feel organic to what's happening on screen. And the thing about this too is I don't want to give the actors behind it too much shit, because this is just kind of what Shyamalan does. Shyamalan has a way of just getting odd performances out of ordinarily very talented actors. Now, I'm not familiar with Hartnett's work. I don't know if he is a good actor or if he's not a good actor. I'm not the one to like call on that one. But I do know, like, if you're in a Shyamalan movie and your performance is weird, it's really not entirely your fault. It's not even really mostly your fault. It's just the direction you're given. And Shyamalan's views on how this stuff works is just weird. And it's one of those weird things, like, I don't know if he understands or cares about how people work. Was he? I guess he was an Oppenheimer. Okay. But, so, I don't know. That really is so much of his anchors on that performance, though, and anchors on him being able to sell that he is this serial killer that is so smart and so clever that he's able to escape most of the traps in the film. And it just doesn't work. The performance doesn't click. It does feel too forced. It does feel like inorganic, and it's amazing he didn't get caught earlier in the film. Like, there's even a part where he realizes he's like, there are police and they're looking for him, so he just shoves a woman down the stairs of the stadium, and everyone's like, whoa, was she okay? And his daughter's like, whoa, what happened? Is she tripped and fell? Like, how did they not catch him in that moment? And how did they not go to security cameras? I don't know, that goes to a larger problem I have with the film. And granted, this kind of goes into plot hole element, which is like, I've been very critical of that, and I still stand by a critical thing I've said about it, which is focusing on plot holes as a critique for film is not a genuine critique, because the film is good enough, they don't matter. But that being said, things that only annoyed me. This is where I have to get into spoiler territory. So like I said, this is a 4 out of 10 film. It's not very good. It's not the worst film that I've even seen this year, but it's still pretty bleh. So yeah. A big issue with the movie is that this dude just this movie doesn't really know when to end. It feels like there is like 2 or 3 natural ending points to this film, and it just keeps going. Like, the first ending point is through a series of shenanigans and just very obvious lying. This dude manages to get his way backstage with his daughter to talk with the actual singer. But he realized, because he find out early in the film, that backstage is the only way to get out of the building without being checked by police. But it turns out there's police over there too. So he makes a point. He basically just goes up to the singer like brings her into her dressing room and says like, hey, I got a guy here that I will kill if you don't get me out of here. So she reluctantly agrees and takes him on a limo out of the building. And I'm kind of thinking like, oh, okay, so maybe this movie's ending. They're gonna find like he got away with it basically. But no, it doesn't end there. It keeps going, and then it turns into a cat and mouse kind of fight between her and the singer and him, as she is trying to get him caught. And like those scenes were genuinely kind of clever. Like they both kind of play with it. The daughter might be a little too gullible, but she's also starstruck, so I'll let it go. So the point where like they do eventually end up catching him. It looks like they might finally have him cornered in his house, and he's accepted his fate, and he goes in, he starts neatly organizing things in the house, like, oh, okay, so this feels like a natural endpoint. But then it keeps going, and he gets out again. And then he does another little cat and mouse chase with the girl, and then she escapes, and then he almost gets caught again, and then he escapes again. And then he gets caught again, and then he gets captured again, and the movie literally ends with him escaping again. So it's kind of like, okay, it feels like we didn't know where to end this. And I guess like as far as the twist itself goes, I guess what the twist is supposed to be is that his wife is actually the one that set him up, because she figured out that he is the butcher, and is the one that tipped off the cops to where he was gonna be. But like even like for Shyamalan standards, that's actually pretty low key. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. The scene around it's kind of weird, but okay. Like as far as Shyamalan twist goes, like that one seems pretty practical actually compared to his usual ones. But yeah, it's a movie that just hinges on elements that just don't work, and I don't really know who's responsible for that. I really don't, because even like the script is solid. Even if it does rely largely on a very gullible vendor worker who just immediately trusts a random dude he just met, knowing full well there is a serial killer amongst them, and then spills the whole tea about what's going on in that whole area. So it really is and to be fair, they did do a post-credit scene with him, and that one's actually probably my favorite scene of the film. That would be like genuinely funny. He's watching TV and he's watching the news report, and he just has a reaction like, oh shit, I helped that guy. Oh, I'm not fucking telling anybody about this. Genuinely funny. Very good. The rest of the movie, though, it's nothing to cry home about. I would honestly just skip this one. So I think that's all I really have to say about this one. I'm going to look at my list, see what else I have to talk about, because I want to do one more recording today. But you'll all find out about that the day after this one's uploaded. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.